Well, hey there, guys. I wasn't able to do this live because I'm doing a screen capture, and I do it from Android, so there's way too many things going on there for me to download everything onto a phone. So you guys get this. It doesn't really matter that I do it live or not. The information will still be here for you. So here is St. Isaac's Church, and we're going to do this on some giant bells that I found. The stories that go along with them, and we'll get into these buildings and what they appear to be. If you want to talk about giants, we'll do that too. First of all, if we notice just how everything is so perfect as if it was printed. I mean, even the painting. You know, you were taught growing up that Michelangelo sat on his back on scaffolding 100 feet in the air to paint this, to paint these things. I just don't believe it. It looks like, you know how you can spray decorate a cake these days, get any picture you want on it. That's what happened there. That's what that is. I'm almost certain of it. And it looks like the building was printed too. Like, to what degree? Was it a giant 3D printer? I don't know, because there was no way this St. Isaac's, whatever year it was made, 1200, 1600. Yeah, that's really what they needed to do. They needed all this extra stuff. They needed this. Here, let me, let's get to the bottom here. That's how big it needs to be. Do you see the size of that guy right there? Standing next to that door. Who could even open that? They put a door handle down to the left there, where that sign is, to open up what is probably a door that would take hundreds of men to open. Maybe not hundreds, but I mean, it looks like it's made out of cast iron. So that's how they built to that stature back in the day. For what reason? It's and to say that they built like these people that were obviously if in the 1800s we were building, you know, look at the level of craftsmanship of just a standard house in 2020. It's trash. In the early 1900s, it was shanties. Late 1800s, but all of a sudden there was these buildings everywhere that had nothing to do with the people that were there. There'd be no way that in 1700 that something like this could be built unless there was a higher, different type of technology. And if you go back even farther, which some of these are purported to be built in 1500, 1600, doesn't really matter. No one can build this. No, you can't build this today. What are you doing with that? Why? What's that all about? So let's go on to the bells, because this is just too obvious to me. Oh, and then we got the big, at the top there. See that big dome on top of all of that? That's obscene. It's obscene. The doorways, the archways, the bells. Let's go to another page here. We'll get into these bells here. Let's do, okay, I was started with the Liberty Bell, and I was wondering, is there any other crack bells or large bells? And there's this thing called the Tsar Bell. And, of course, it's cracked. And the story is, not only was this bell rebuilt three times, every time it got larger, and two of the times it broke because of fire. One time the fire, apparently, I guess, I'll show you a couple other pictures of where these other bells are sitting and how they're set up on these poles. But they use giant wooden logs. Let's just look at the size of this thing. Look at this person standing next to it. That is supposedly something like 240,000 pounds. If anybody's good at math, go figure that out. 240,000 pounds divided by 2,000. That's obscenely large. And the way they set these up. Now this is in Russia as well. To think, it's that building right there, the top of it, and it's got all of this. They're just going to build these giant bells that big. Now, I get what the theory is and why they would. Maybe they weren't even used for that, but Let's go to a page to show you what I'm talking about. With here's a Chion Temple bell. Let's look at some images here. See if I can find one with how it's set up. There you go. Well, you can't really see how it's... I don't even think that's the right one. Let me go back a page. There's got to be a good one where you can see how it's hung. Maybe this won't let you see, but here's some of them playing the bell. Because you need to have a giant log to smash the side of it. I don't believe that's how it was used. I don't believe for 1 second that's how it was used. It doesn't seem feasible that you would somehow be able to design and cast that giant bell, and then only to need 20 dudes to smash a log into the side of it. It doesn't seem to fit the narrative at all. Okay. Okay, so I'll read you. I'll just go read the here it is, Tsar Bell, located between... I mean, I'll go through all of the extra stuff, and I'll just get right to the important thing. It was the bell is the largest in the world, weighing 445,000 pounds. 20 feet tall, diameter of 6.6 meters, and the broken piece weighs 25,000 pounds. That broken piece, it sits there, 25,000 pounds. So that's got to sit in there, the size of this and the size of these other ones, going into what some of these things are going to say. The history of the bell dates back to the 10th century, apparently. See again how big that bell is? That's just absurd. And they built that in the 10th century. Okay, sure. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't built in the 10th century, but if we'd have to adjust the narrative of history if we're going to believe that was somehow cast in that year. They could figure that out. Well, maybe for a different reason. One of the largest of the early bells was the original Tsar Bell. The original. There was original Tsar Bell cast in the 16th century. Completed in 1600, it weighed 40,000 pounds and required 24 men to ring its clapper. Housed in an original wooden Ivan the Great tower in the Kremlin, it crashed to the ground during a fire. Here we go with these fire stories everywhere. Always a fire. In the mid-17th century, and was broken to pieces. So the first one, broke. The second bell was cast in 1655 using the remnants of the former bell, but on a much larger scale. It went from 40,000 pounds to, the bell weighed 220,000. So they used 40,000 pounds of material, recast it, and added to it another 180,000 pounds. 180,000 pounds. But again, was destroyed in a fire. In a fire. Cast iron bell. Or what it was made out of, brass, whatever it was. Brass, iron. Okay, yeah, that's going to... Destroyed again by a fire in 1701. All of these, everywhere you go, everywhere you look. Always ridiculous fire. After becoming empress, Anna ordered it to be cast into a new bell, with its weight increasing by another 100 tons. And dispatched Marshal Munich to find a master craftsman. However, the bell of such a size was unprecedented. And let's see. In 1733, the job was assigned to a local foundry. All right. It had experience in casting a bronze cannon. That has experience in casting bronze cannons. So a pit 10 meters, 33 feet deep was dug near the location of the present bell with the clay form and walls reinforced with rammed earth to withstand the pressure of the molten metal. Obtaining the necessary metals provided a challenge, for in addition to the parts of the old bell, an additional 525 kilograms or 1,100 pounds of silver and 160 pounds of gold were added to the mixture. So they got gold and silver going into this. After months of preparation, casting work commenced in 1734. The first attempt was not successful. Somehow couldn't do it. And the project was incomplete when Ivan died and his son carried on the work. The second attempt was in November of 1735. Ornaments were added as the bell was cooling, while raised above the casting pit through 1737. So apparently it took 2 years to cool. Apparently, I guess. It seems a little crazy to me, but all right. However, before the last ornamentation was complete, what happens again? A major fire broke out in the Kremlin again in 1737. The fire spread. Now, you got to pay attention to this ridiculous story. The fire spread to the temporary wooden support structure. How did it get there? You would think it wouldn't be anywhere near anything else. If you're casting a giant bell made out of silver, molten gold, iron, bronze, whatever it's made out of, you're going to need a foundry, and there's going to be nothing around there that a fire from the Kremlin would make its way to. What it did, burning down all the trees in the way? Because remember, you're not going to burn down the trees if there's any around, because there's already water content in them. It's just so unbelievably improbable to the point of impossible and ridiculous to even think about this. This is going to be the third bell that they haven't even got to ring. Here's what happened. Before the last ornamentation was complete, a major fire broke out again. The fire spread to the temporary wooden structure, and fearing damage, guards threw cold water on it, causing 11 cracks. Because that's what they would do. It caused 11 cracks. Okay? Because why would they throw water on it? Why wouldn't they know better? Why wouldn't someone have... I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Okay, causing 11 cracks, and a huge 2,300-pound slab broke off. The fire burned through the wooden supports, and the damaged bell fell back into its casting pit. The Tsar Bell remained in its pit for almost a century. Unsuccessful attempts to raise it were made in 1792 and 1819. Napoleon Bonaparte, during his occupation of Moscow in 1812, considered removing it as a trophy for France, but was unable to do so because of its large size and weight. It was finally successfully raised in 1836 by a French architect, Auguste de Montferrand, and placed on a stone pedestal. Completely makes sense, I guess. The broken slab alone is nearly 3 times larger than the world's largest bell hung for full circle ringing in the Liverpool Cathedral. For a time, the bell served as a chapel because the broken area formed the door for it. And years later, they decided to figure out what this bell might sound like, and in 2016, they didn't reconstruct the bell because obviously we can't even probably try to do that today. It would be insane undertaking, obviously. But they used a computer program and figured out that it would make a fundamental frequency of about 81 hertz. That's just so you guys can... 81 hertz. But see, now how absurd and ridiculous that entire story is. It's so far beyond ridiculous. Here, let's go to. I want to show you again how these bells are. Let's go to Yongle Bell. Maybe we can find how they're hung here so you can see. Oh, here's a beautiful one. So ornament. There was a really good one that I want to show you guys because of the pictures. Oh, was it the Ming bell? I think it's this one. Yeah, check this one out. Check out this bell. Cool, right? Let's see if I can find the pictures. Okay, here you go. Look at these two pictures. These two pictures are... It says the top bell is from 1873. Notice what it's hanging on. 3 pieces of lumber. And it's got all of this. It's got tree growth. And it's about... Look at where it is off the ground. I would say about 2 feet. The kid's sitting on it, right? And there is all of this growth. There's trees hanging out over here. And then the second picture is from 1896. So that's 23 years. Now, what do you notice in the second picture? It's way higher off the ground. The support system is different. And on top of it, there's 2 metal beams. How are they able to accomplish that? Well, they'll tell you, but that turned into that. But what you'll notice too is the growth and the things around it. It's it's wildly different. Like what's the angle they're taking these two pictures at? I don't understand why they would. They raised it off the ground. But see here, the thing is, it says in the first picture, it's already hung. Look at it. Look, it's already hung. So why it's already 2 feet off the ground? And that's only 2 pieces of metal, where that is 3 pieces of lumber. So they didn't build these support systems again. They just put those on the top, which means that this concrete around this was disguising something, and this would have gotten lower unless they got rid of things off the ground. But here it gets more interesting when you read. Here it is. The Mingnan Bell was knocked off its support as a result of a large earthquake in 1839. Okay, 1873 is the first picture. That's not off of its support. It's literally sitting right there. So how could there be a large earthquake on the 23rd of March of 1839? And it says, as a result of a large earthquake, it was knocked off its support. Yet you can see plainly that it says 1870, 1873. It's not. It's plainly sitting there. Not off of the support at all. And then it was suspended again. It was resuspended by the Irrawaddy Flotilla Company in 1896. So this picture apparently is after they redid it. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that at all, because look at the building in the background. Doesn't it look like broken in half? Doesn't it look like a building? This doesn't just look like a cracked building? So they're just going to rehang a bell for what reason? For what purpose? What's going on there? It doesn't look, none of that looks like anybody's really taking care of it. It's all kind of just beat down. Like, okay. And it tells you though, and it came by using public funding. Yeah, I don't. Why do that? Where is that? Where's the city? And it's also interesting to note, look at the bell again. Do you see the lines on the bell? Do you see how those lines are right there? If you look at it yourself, to me, that doesn't look like the same bell. I mean, it could be. It's of little regard, but look at the bell. Remember the... See? That's not the same. That's not the same thing, is it? Or am I... I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. It could be the quality of photography, but again, it's just kind of... Well, you're not going to be able to tell from that picture. This is the story of the date. They knew the earthquake then caused that to happen? Okay. All right, let's go to one more. Let's go to one more. So which one do we do? Did we do this one already? There was one that they had that they found there was something like 200,000 inscriptions, Sanskrit inscriptions on it. And it was giant. Here, I think this is the one. See all them symbols? Who's going to be able to do that? That's printed. That's like an inkjet printing press. That's like, ain't nobody doing things like that. And that thing is large. Let me see if I can find the page of the excuse me, one second here. Let's go back a page here. Let's go bells. The largest in the world. Giant temple bell. Let's just do this again. We'll go back to this page. If I go here, I probably can find connection to a list of the biggest bells in the world. History. See also. Oh, here you go. List of heaviest bells. A bunch of these. So you can just go through and click on some of these. Obviously, you're just looking for the date that it was cast. So you got the date over there. And so, 2000 is not really going to matter. 19, yeah, 1902 or before, because you really can't verify any of that. Then you got the Ming Ung Bell in the 1810, and then it fell during the earthquake and it raised again, right? Oh, the Great Bell of Dahamzeti. That's a huge bell, 655,000 pounds. Let's see if we can get a picture of that. Oh no, this one here. This story on this one's amazing. Okay, this bell is, what did I just tell you? 655,000 pounds. And the story goes something like this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is 1500. And they're going to cast something that's 655,000 pounds. And then it was stolen. It was stolen. And here's how they said they stole it. They knocked it down and rolled it down a hill, and then put it onto. They had some elephants carry it to the point that they got it onto a ship, and then as the load provided to be too heavy, it fell off and went into the river and went to the bottom. That seems so absurd. 655,000 pounds, and they're gonna go steal it. You're gonna steal that, or whatever happened, and then move it, have like a melt it down for stuff. When that's the easiest way to go about that. Why wouldn't you break it apart right there and take it in pieces? That would seem a lot smarter, right? I mean, obviously you can tell these things break. Why wouldn't they just break it and take it? What are they, they're going to do it anyways? See, even that one probably at some point in time was, this is later. This one probably got burnt down by a fire at some point in time. Anyways, okay, that's, I'll go farther on this sometime. If I can figure out how to do these live, I will. Feel free to add things at the bottom. I will leave you again with this picture of there's so many of these giant old cathedrals that when you look at them, the more and more you look at them, how perfect they are. They seem cast. They seem like printed almost. They're way too big for humans. They're way too heavy, way too tall, way too much, way too ornate. What is this built for? Just a gathering hall so people come stare at shit? It would hardly seem correct. And who could have built this? How many people would you need? This is not even one room. How many people in how many years? How many, honestly, how much stuff is in there? How perfect is it? How many different industries do you need to run to get that all put together? And as always, importantly, what is going on with the doorway being that big? There's no reason for that. If it is for humans, just make it, 10 feet tall and able to be opened. Because that looks like it's made of iron, and it'd take a pretty strong person to be able to open that. I don't know. It's just, what are these things doing sitting there? Look at this. Look at that gold. That's certainly made out of gold. Painting. Somebody was doing that on their back, upside down. Come on. And they're doing this over here. They look like they were printed on there. I don't know. Those bells look like they could be toys for somebody bigger. Huh? Well, there you go. Have a good day. Feel free to drop a couple links in there to other cool things that you found. If you find any other broken bells, I was looking for some because that was my intro to this. I was thinking about the Liberty Bell and why it's cracked and some other things. Or if you know of any other good, we could do cathedrals all day. That to people, it just doesn't seem, they just seem to accept it and don't go. Why are these so giant? What are those organs there for? Alright, guys. Toodaloo.